What's up, dogs and dogettes? Welcome to Week 14 of the NFL Pick'em Against the Spread with your boy, Harkdawg25 here, and special guest, the man I've been playing for the last year and a half in my Pick'em League, FitzCanada. What's going on, Fitz?
How's it going, Hark? Pretty good here.
Good. Well, I have our stats from last week. You had a little rough week. It happens.
Yeah.
I had a lot of rough weeks in the middle. But I was 12-4 straight up, 11-5 versus the spread, which put me in 5th place, which they only paid down to 4 in my Pick'em League, so no money for me again.
That's rough.
Yeah. And I'm 115-77 win-loss straight up, and 186-6 versus the spread. So not doing too bad. That puts me in tie for 4th place in the league, and they do pay down to 6 places overall. So I'm in the money there, at least, if I hang out there.
Not too bad.
Yeah, so Fitz, last week you were 9-7 straight up, which puts you equal to me at 115-77 total.
Close.
Which is kind of crazy. And then against the spread, you were 6-10, which puts you at 71, 66, and 6. So it's pretty equal as far as percentages. I think I might have you by a few percentage points.
Yeah, last week wasn't too kind to me.
That's right. We're here to pick it up this week, though. Okay, so let's jump right into the games. Tonight, we're doing this Thursday night, so the game's kicking off in about hour and a half-ish. Arizona Cardinals at home against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, how we're going to do this, I'm going to do some pros and cons, my pick, and then Fitz will do some pros and cons, his pick, and we'll kind of zip through this in a timely fashion. So, Arizona, obviously they're at home, they're healthy, they have a great defense. Minnesota, Bridgewater is not a good QB. If they stop AP, that's going to put a lot of pressure on that defense to stop Arizona, and the defense is missing 4 defensive backs. So, and I am going Arizona to win and cover this game quite handily.
Yeah, not much to say in this game. I think the Vikings are missing 4 defensive starters. Carson Palmer and that offense is rolling. The Cards should be able to take them down pretty handily. It really surprised me last week against the Seahawks, the Vikings no-show. I thought, I kind of underestimated them all season, and then I was finally starting to believe a little bit, and then they go and do that, and I don't know. They're just not on the same level as the rest of the NFC powerhouses, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree. So you're going Arizona to win and cover,
Arizona to win and cover, yeah.
All right, cool. Well, they're the same there. Now let's jump to the Sunday games. Philadelphia favored by a half a point. It's basically a pick 'em at home against Buffalo. Now, Philadelphia beat the Patriots last week using 3 return touchdowns. That offense really didn't do too much against the Patriots. Buffalo came out strong against Houston, covered the spread, had a good game. And I think Philly is due for a letdown here. I don't think that team is as good as they showed last week. The defense is not as good. The offense is not as good behind Bradford and DeMarco Murray there, and with Ryan Matthews out. So I'm picking Buffalo and LaShawn McCoy to have a big day here to win and cover this game. How about you?
Yeah, I've been very anti-Eagles this whole season, and so far it's worked out pretty well for me, barring last week, but that caught everyone off guard. I think I remember earlier in the season you were a believer in the Eagles, I think, and
yeah.
Yeah, and the Bills, they looked pretty strong last week, and earlier in the season, through most of it, I think they were expected to give a good run for the wild card, and for them to continue doing that, they've got to show up tomorrow and hand it to the Eagles, and I don't see any reason to all of a sudden start believing in the Eagles after one win against a heavily depleted team. So I'm going to go Bills win and cover here. It should be a close one, though, but I think they'll win and cover.
Okay, cool. All right, so moving on to, this is a game on everybody's calendar, I think. Cleveland favored by 1.5 points against San Francisco. Johnny Manziel's starting. Cleveland just doesn't have an offense, even with Manziel. They have no running game. The defense is not that great. Outside of Travis Benjamin and Barnidge might not even play because he's questionable. San Francisco under Gabbard, he's the true game manager. We showed that last week against Chicago, came back, led them on that drive to force OT, and then threw that winning pass in OT. I have San Francisco winning and covering this game. I just don't think Manziel is going to win this game. And Cleveland's just a dumpster fire.
Yeah, game of the week right here, Manziel, Gabbert. I think in the offseason there was a list that dubbed Manziel and Gabbert as the worst backups in the league, and here they are starting in this late in the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the 49ers win and cover this one. The Browns, I'm rooting for Manziel. I really am. I want to see him do well, but given how the team overall has been playing lately, I just don't think they have. And the 49ers have kind of been coming on stronger lately. Gabbert has really been showing that he belongs in the NFL, where certainly before the season, I think a lot of people would say he didn't even belong on a roster. So good for him. And side note, Gary Barnidge of the Browns, I believe, just signed a contract extension to stay in Cleveland. So good for him. Huge year for him. And, maybe next year him and Manziel can get something going if Manziel is still around. But Niners win and cover this one tonight. Sunday.
Yeah, it seemed like Gabbert took some hints from Jim Harbaugh before he left, and Kaepernick did not.
Yeah.
All right, next game. St. Louis favored by 1 point at home against the Detroit Lions. Now, St. Louis has the most overrated coach in the NFL in Jeff Fisher.
Yeah.
Gurley has really gone downhill. Foles way downhill from where he was a couple years ago. That defense just isn't as strong as we thought. The offense is non-existent. I feel like Detroit coming off that tough loss to my Packers and the Hail Mary last week, which is insane, have a better all-around team and just a better coach. And I think they're going to go into St. Louis and they're going to win and cover this game.
Yeah, I don't want to agree with you too much here, but I got to go with the Lions to win and cover this one as well. The Rams they've got nothing going for them lately. Gurley's had a couple of games where, he had that huge stretch, come back from the injury to start the season. He was just tearing up the league. He's been slowed down lately, and I really need him to come through this week, to be honest. Just do or die for my team, but...
Okay.
Outside of Gurley, if he does show up, like you said, Foles, I don't even think they're starting Foles this week. I think they're starting Keenum coming back from a concussion.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean,
whoever they have, but
yeah, insert name at QB. It's just
exactly, and say what you want about Stafford, but he's certainly better than whoever they're going to throw in there. So, yeah, I got to go Lions winning cover in this game.
All right. Well, there's definitely some games coming up that we're probably going to differ on.
Oh yeah.
Maybe this one. 3.5 point favorite, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home against the New Orleans Saints. Now, I flip-flopped so many times on this game. I've started off as Tampa, went New Orleans. I'm going New Orleans only because they showed some life last week. Even though Ingram's hurt, though, maybe I might have to switch that. But for the sake, I feel like Tampa just doesn't have the strongest offense. Winston has only thrown more than one TD pass in the past 5 weeks, one time, and that was the 5 TDs against Philadelphia. He's run a couple in. That Doug Martin needs to really carry the load here. I might flip the Tampa on this one. I probably will, honestly. I'm going to do it. I'm going to flip to Tampa. I can't go New Orleans. I just can't. That defense is so bad.
Yeah.
And they're on the road. Breeze is on the road. They have no running game with Ingram out. I just got to go Tampa. I flip-flopped right there, but I'm going Tampa.
Well, yeah, I'm not too worried about Breeze. I think he showed last week against about as stout a defense as they come that Breeze can still sling it. He's right up there with the best of them. But yeah, that defense, what a joke. Swiss cheese defense there. And the Buccaneers, you got Doug Martin. He's been coming on real strong this season. Kind of a rejuvenation season for him. And Jameis Winston, at the start of the season, I was one of those people who was kind of more of a Mariota believer than a Winston. I figured he'd be throwing picks, 2-3 picks a game. But I am as big a believer as anyone is now in Jameis Winston. I think he could be great. I really do. He's shown a lot of poise beyond his years, and this could be a big game for the Bucks. If they win this game, I don't expect Seattle or Minnesota to fall out of the wild card, but if they win this game, then they're putting themselves in a situation to fight for that last wild card spot. So I think they will do it at home. I got them winning and covering.
Yeah, Winston has definitely turned into more of a game manager than a slinger, and it's helped them out.
Yeah, big time.
All right, next game. New York Jets at home, favored by 7 points against the visiting Tennessee Titans. Now, Mariota ran and threw all over the Jaguars last week, which was actually fine for me because I had Bortles and Allen Robinson in some fantasy leagues, which really helped me. I don't think he's going to do the same thing on the road in the Meadowlands against the Jets. Revis coming back. That front four with Wilkerson there and the other bad guys there. I feel like the Jets, Fitzpatrick with Marshall, Decker, Ivory, they just have a very good all-around team, and I think they're going to have a very good all-around game against Tennessee, and they're going to win and cover this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little off the board here. I do think the Jets will win this one. They need it, and they have enough talent that they should be able to get it against an inferior team in the Titans. However, the Titans' defense is actually pretty good. I think it might be a top 10 defense this year, believe it or not.
Okay.
The Jets' offense, as much as I love Fitzmagic, they are prone to turnovers, and against somewhat capable, look aside from their record defense, I think turnovers are going to happen. We might see a defensive score here by the Titans. I think the Jets will win. I think the Titans will cover. I think it will be a close game. It might be a 3 or 4 point victory for the Jets here. Mariota is going to keep them close.
Okay. Good. Well, we're differing here a little bit, which I knew it would happen. I'm wondering about this game. We might differ on this one. I'm kind of going with a homer call, but I have Cincinnati covering the 3 points at home against Pittsburgh. Now, Pittsburgh's been on a tear lately, averaging about 35 points for the last 4 weeks. Cincinnati has been also on a tear, throwing up a lot of points, just stomping Cleveland into submission last week in a 37-3 decimation. I feel like the bending point here is the defense, and Cincinnati's defense and not special team, but the defense is better than Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's special team with Brown back there is a little bit better, and the offenses are comparable, the amount of weapons that they have. And Cincinnati at home, I mean, they beat Pittsburgh on the road earlier this year 16-10. I think Cincinnati will win this game. I think they're the better all-around team than Pittsburgh, and I think they're going to do just enough to win this one in a shootout.
Yeah, shootout. That's what we all said the game in Pittsburgh would be. I think it was less than 20. What was it, like 10-6? It was a pretty ugly game.
Yeah,
but
it was 16-10.
16-10, yeah. This time, yeah, I think it will be a shootout. This is kind of a legacy game for Andy Dalton, and it's also a chance for both teams to establish their dominance. Like you said, they've both been hot going down the stretch here.
Yeah.
People are going to keep betting against the Bengals, and the Steelers are one of those teams that they'll always get the benefit of the doubt. But you can't take anything away from Roethlisberger. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
And he will score points. Both of these defenses are a little bit depleted, the Bengals secondary in particular. The Steelers secondary,
Yep.
I don't know if they're depleted, but they just suck. So
Yeah.
a lot of points through the air this week. The swing factor might be Gio Bernard. They've been going to Hill a lot, and in the last few weeks, when he gets going, like last week, when they can't stop him, he ran for like 90+ yards. They barely use Gio, but when Hill kind of gets shut down early, they start going to Gio more, and he's kind of unstoppable. They'll throw to him in the flats, they'll run him up the middle, swings. He'll put up yardage if Hill gets stopped, and I think that's going to be the big difference. Look for Gio to have a big game, Andy Dalton to have a big game. Bengals win and cover.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I agree with Gio. The best defense for Cincinnati is keeping the ball out of Roethlisberger's hands, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, next one. I'm sure you'll be wearing your J.J. Watt jersey.
Yeah.
And his broken hand. New England favored by 3.5 points on the road against the Houston Texans. Now, New England, Gronk kind of practiced today. He probably won't play. New England is still depleted, but I feel Houston, especially with Watt having a cast and a broken hand, that's going to limit his not mobility, but his tackling ability. He's still going to disrupt Brady. He's still going to get to the QB. I just think New England is the better team here, even though it's in Houston with the better coach. New England's going to win and cover this one. I think they'll just cover the spread. I think it'll be like a 24-20 type game, not high scoring, but they'll cover the 3.5.
Yeah, as great as Brady is, those receivers, my God, if you watched that game last week, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch it.
That has to be, at this moment with the injuries they have, that has to be the worst receiving core in the league. It is awful. So the last drive of that game, I think they had 3 drops and ended up going losing on the
I did see that, yeah, when they had a chance to tie.
Every single one of those passes was on the money, just dropped. Brutal. So, yeah, I agree with you that it'll be a bit of a struggle for the Patriots. It won't be smooth. Fun stat for you. I think it's since 2013, amount of quarterback hits for defensive players. J.J. Watt has almost double the second place player. I think it's Carlos Dunlap has about 90. Wow. J.J. Watt has about 180.
That's insane.
And like you said, with that cast on his hand, he's basically got a bludgeon. He'll be beating offensive linemen around all day, and he's definitely going to be hitting Brady. So it won't be easy, but the Patriots will get it done. They will win and cover.
All right. Now, my boy, Blake Bortles and Allen Robinson, I need another big week in my playoffs. They're favored by a half point against the very nicked and banged up Indianapolis Colts.
Favored? Really?
They're favored by a half point.
Wow.
So it's basically a pick 'em. And I am picking Jacksonville. I know they're getting Hearns back. Yeldon actually, had a decent game for once last week. Robinson had a huge game, and it shows that Bortles, if he just relies on Robinson, they can have some magic together. And they got to throw more in the red zone because Robinson just somehow gets open. He had 3 touchdowns last week, 130 yards. Bortles had 5 touchdowns. Indianapolis was a no-show against Pittsburgh. Hasselbeck is showing his age. They just couldn't score any points, throwing picks in the red zone. I feel like it's going to be the same thing on the road here in Jacksonville. It'll probably be a closer game than the Pittsburgh game, but I think Jacksonville is going to win by probably a field goal in this one.
Yeah, even in games that Jacksonville should win, and not that there's many of them, they find a way to make it interesting. No matter how big their lead is, they find a way. So, yeah, it's going to be close. But I also think Jacksonville will win and cover. I am surprised that they're favored, though. I would think Indy would be favored just because of that divisional race. But, hey, the Jags win this one, and the Texans lose to the Patriots. They're, I think, only 1 game behind division lead. So,
yeah, yep.
Wouldn't that be something if they make the playoffs? I would love to see that. It would be hilarious. But I love Bortles. People talking about who would you pick to start your franchise now. People say Winston, Mariota, Derek Carr, maybe a couple Bridgewaters in there. But I'd go Bortles. I think he's really coming into his own. He's got that Ben Roethlisberger physique. He's big. He's mobile. Yep. He's hard to take down. He can throw it 50, 60 yards downfield easily. This team is going places. People have been saying that for a couple of years now. They haven't really gone anywhere, but I think this is the time. Like you said, Robinson is phenomenal receiver. Not sure about Yeldon, but they get that passing game going. It should open up the run and vice versa. So I think this game they'll win. They will win and cover.
All right. Yeah, and I think it's Hasselbeck is dinged up, so they might have their I don't even know who their backup is.
Yeah, QB3.
Whitehurst. I don't know who he is, but he might start. So I think that's what's kind of floating the spread in Jacksonville's favor. Okay, so we both got Jacksonville next game. Kansas City at home, riding a 6-game winning streak, favored by 10 points against a team they crushed 2 weeks ago in the San Diego Chargers. Now, I am picking Kansas City to win and cover. I am not going with Vegas and being like, oh yeah, well, Vegas is going to win my money by picking the under because of San Diego. San Diego just does not have has no offense, no offensive line, and their defense is not good. Kansas City thrashed them 33-3 2 weeks ago. And it's the same team now at home. Even with Phil Rivers, now listed as probable for this week, he's got no one to throw the ball to. He's going to be on his back all day. And it's going to be a very rough trip back to San Diego after this crushing loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, in my opinion.
Yeah, poor Phillip Rivers, man. The team is just deteriorating. They've got the relocation looming. Feel bad for the guy. What a player. I hate betting against him because he's just so good. It wouldn't be the first time that they go out and beat a team that's supposed to beat them, especially with their season lost. Really tempted to take the Chargers to cover here, but like you said, the Chiefs have just been so strong lately. And if you look at their schedule, the last 4 games here, I can't name them off the top of my head, but they are 4 very winnable games where they should be favored in all of them and should probably win all of them. And that would put them, I think, on a 10-game winning streak to end the season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. They have San Diego at Baltimore, Cleveland at home, Oakland at home.
Yeah. Now, as nice as that is, and as much as they've really silenced the haters from the start of the season, Alex Smith and Jeremy Maclin and the rest of that team, I still, even if they go and close 10 straight on the season, I think the Patriots, if they get Gronk and maybe a receiver back, the Broncos, even with Osweiler, and the Bengals, those 3 teams are just on a whole other level from the rest of the division.
Sure.
I don't see the Chiefs beating any of those 3 teams in the playoffs, but they could still pose a threat. So yeah, they will win and cover this game against San Diego, who is just deteriorated completely.
Yeah. Injury bug has bit them many times.
Yeah, and Melvin Gordon repping those Wisconsin running backs.
Oh my God, yeah, I drafted him, and he's got me no more than 6 points every week, and he's riding the pine now.
In true Wisconsin fashion.
Yep. And next game, the Bears at home, favored by 3 points against the Washington Redskins. Now, the Redskins really pissed me off Monday when they lost at home, where they could take a stranglehold on the division to the lowly Matt Castle, McFadden-led Dallas Cowboys. What a circus. What a joke.
Sickening.
I mean, can you make a kick, whatever your kicker is for Washington? Forbath? Not even Forbath. It's probably some random dude, but he sucks anyways. Chicago losing to San Francisco at home. The weather, I guess, for this game is going to be rain. So I don't know if it's going to be a slugfest. That will definitely favor Chicago with Forte and Langford. And I am actually going Chicago to win and cover this game. Washington is not a good team. They showed it on Monday night. It's a short week. They're battered up. Matt Jones can't run the ball. Morris can't run the ball. And if it's going to be a ground and pound type day where there's a lot of inclement weather, you're going to pick the better coach, which is Fox. You're going to pick the better QB, which is Cutler, which is crazy to say, and the better running back in Forte to win this game.
Yeah, no question about it. That all those guys are better on the Bears. I got the Bears winning and covering. I really want to see Washington make the playoffs because that division is such a joke.
It is.
The Eagles are a joke. The Giants are a joke. They keep losing games that they should. And the Redskins, who everybody thought was probably the worst or second worst team going into the season, they keep winning games they're not supposed to win. And then losing these ones where maybe they should. And, Cousins' stats home and away are just night and day. He has put up, maybe not including last week, that was a home game, but he is so much better at home than away. Away, they don't have much of a chance, I don't think. They're gonna show why nobody believed in them at the start of the season. And the Bears keep looking to get better. It's maybe a little too late, but Cutler, Forte, like you said, they got weapons and they'll get it done at home.
All right, nice. Now next game, Carolina Panthers favored by 7.5 points against the dumpster fire that is the Atlanta Falcons. I had Carolina covering last week, and that defense did have a lot of holes against Drew Brees. And it also didn't help that they fumbled 3 times. I think Newton fumbled, Stewart fumbled, which was returned for a touchdown, and then Olsen fumbled. And that was the only reason why New Orleans was in that game.
Yeah.
And Carolina is just a strong team, obviously, 12-0. They're returning home. Atlanta just trending in the complete opposite direction. Matty Ice can't throw the ball to his receivers other than Julio. But, I mean, with Norman, the best cornerback in the league in Carolina, on Julio, that's going to severely limit Julio's production. They're going to rely on Devontae Freeman. The pedal's starting to wilt there. He's not what everybody assumed he was going to maintain earlier in the year.
Coming back from concussion.
Yep. And I feel like Carolina's just going to take it to Atlanta. They're going to win by 2 touchdowns, go to 13-0 in this game.
Yeah, that's certainly the most likely scenario. I don't know about you. I didn't even know who Josh Norman was before the season. What a year for him.
Yeah.
Coming out of the pack, proving that he's one of, if not the best corner in the league. Should be interesting seeing him and Julio. Falcons offense, they've just disappeared. Everybody thought they'd be awful to start this season, and I thought they would be a playoff team, and I feel like a big idiot now because they started off so great, and I felt so smart.
Right.
And then they come back to earth, and it's been weeks since I believed in this team. I gave them. They've lost against bad teams. I think they started out 5-1, and then they start losing like Tennessee, Tampa, who at the time was bad. We see that better now. San Francisco. And after like 3 of those, I was like, all right, I'm done. And betting against them, I think they're on like a 5-game lose streak or something. It served well for me, so I could bet against them again. I thought Matt Ryan in past years was a top 10 quarterback. He's definitely not right now. He's definitely not. I don't know if it's all him or just other problems in the team, but Matt Ryan is not playing like the quarterback that I thought he was in past years. So we'll see what they do going forward with that team. Probably going to be another rough year next year, barring big changes. I don't think they would make any big changes, but yeah, they're kind of in limbo right now. They've got a core, and the core is not winning. So they're at that stage. Do you rebuild, or do you just try to work around it some more? But right now the Panthers, they're built to win. I don't think they'll go 16-0, but they will win and cover this game.
Yeah. I think Matty Ice is missing a good tight end. Those good teams that he had, especially with Tony Gonzalez there.
That's true.
Really helped him out. And, other than Julio, Roddy White's old, and Hankerson's injured, and Freeman, catches the ball out of the backfield, but, can he stay healthy?
Yeah.
So, all right. So, next game, Denver favored by 7.5 points at home in Mile High Stadium against the Oakland Raiders. Now, Oakland coming off a rough loss to KC at home. Denver winning 3 in a row with Osweiler at QB. Not the biggest butt whooping that we expected last week when they faced the Chargers. They won 17-3. They looked good on the opening drive and kind of had the defense win it for them. But the defense is just so good for Denver. I've got them in one of my fantasy leagues, and it put up 30 points for me last week with a return TD and some fumble recoveries. And I feel like they're going to take Amari Cooper out. They're going to take Crabtree out of the mix. And that's going to leave Latavius Murray to handle the load and try and move the ball down the field. That secondary in Denver is just so good. Osweiler, if he continues to be a game manager, C.J. Anderson keeps stepping up and running the ball well. And this team is going to be very tough to beat. And I think they're going to be very tough to beat at home this week. I feel like they're going to win and cover this game quite handily. Probably a 10-point win, like a 27-17.
Yeah, Oakland, they're a growing team. I think they're going to surprise 1 or 2 teams down the stretch here that they're not supposed to be, but I don't think Denver's going to be one of them. Carr and Cooper and Latavius Murray, they've been having some pretty good years individually as far as their stats go. The wins haven't quite been coming together like they would have hoped.
Yep.
But the talent is there. They are growing, but to expect this to be the game where they kind of break out together against probably the best defense in the league is just not very realistic.
You're right.
So
right.
I think it won't be less than a touchdown. You said it's what, 7.5 for Denver?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be at least 8. So I got to go Denver wins and covers, but Oakland will put up some points, but I think Denver is just going to put up more. We may probably see a defensive score, something like
Sure.
I don't know, 28-14 kind of game, maybe.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay. So he's got Denver there. Yeah, we haven't differed too much. I think we differ on one game here so far.
One or two.
Then my Green Bay Packers favored by 8.5 points at home against the Dallas Cowboys. Matt Castle led. I am going Green Bay to obviously win this game. I think they're going to win by a touchdown. I think Dallas will cover the spread. I think their defense is good enough, and Green Bay's offense is right now bad enough. And it just kills me to not pick Green Bay here. I hope they cover the spread just because I don't want to see a close game against a terrible opponent like Dallas. So I'm picking Dallas to cover the spread in hopes that Green Bay covers the spread, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised. You're doing this. I think there's no way that the Cowboys show up relative term, but pull one out like they did against the Redskins last week. I don't think it's gonna be close. Packers, like you said, they'll win. That offense has looked bad, but I don't know. It's the Cowboys, man.
But it was the Bears before, it was the Lions before, and we lost to both those teams at home. I'm going Dallas just so Green Bay wins and covers. It's kind of like a reverse psychology thing here.
Yeah, you got that little fan bias here. You've kind of dampened your expectations so you don't get disappointed if Cowboys do cover. But from a more neutral perspective, I just don't see them putting up points against the Packers defense. It's more about that than the Packers offense. They're definitely better than the Redskins defense. And they had a kicker. Kick field goals. They barely did anything on offense in that game.
Yep.
They had
took a fumble by Deshaun Jackson.
Fumble, and then they had their special teams with several big returns. They're not going to do that against the Packers. The Packers, they're going to show up defensively, and that's what's going to let them cover this game. It might be a low-scoring game, but look for the Cowboys to get 3, 6, maybe 10 points at most. But the Packers, they'll get about 20. They'll win and cover.
Nice. I like the way you think. All right. Next game, Baltimore and Matt Schaub led Baltimore Ravens against the visiting Seattle Seahawks. Seattle favored by 6 points. Baltimore's a dumpster fire. Matt Schaub, Mr. Pick Six. Javarius Allen actually looks pretty good, but they have no one to throw it to. Kamar Aiken's their best threat. Crockett Gilmore is a halfway decent tight end. But against a team like the surging Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson rejuvenated with Rawls in the backfield. When they didn't have a running game and they relied on Wilson to just take over the game, that's when they were bad. And that's why they were bad in basically the middle of the season. Now they have the running game. Now they get back to what they do best. Run the ball, play defense, Wilson game manager. And they're going to do all three of those things this weekend in Baltimore. And they're going to win and cover this game.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think we're going to see greatest of all time Jimmy Clausen start for the Ravens.
Oh my God.
Not Matt Pick Six Schaub. So he has.
Well, we know how good Clausen did for the Bears against Seattle earlier this year.
I was going to say he has the unique opportunity to lose to the Seahawks twice in the same year for 2 different teams.
Right, and be shut out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's definitely possible. Definitely possible, looking at not just him, but the rest of that Baltimore offense. Seahawks want to cover. There's not much to talk about in this game.
No.
Not much to talk
not really. And then the game everybody's waiting for on Monday night, Miami favored somehow by a 0.5 point at home against the New York Giants. Now, Miami's offense is just bad. I've been playing Lamar Miller all year, and he had a couple breakout weeks in the middle of the season. And when they actually give him the ball 20, 25 times in a game, they do very good things. If they have Tannehill throwing the ball 25, 30 times, that's when things go south. So I'm going to lay it like this. Lamar Miller touches the ball a lot, they're going to win. Lamar Miller doesn't touch the ball a lot, they're going to lose. And that being said, the Giants, with Odell Beckham and Eli coming off just a terrible loss, are going to win and cover this game, no matter how many times Lamar Miller touches the ball.
Yeah, jeez, that team, so frustrating. They've got Lamar Miller, he's had some massive games in fantasy. Jarvis Landry, who's on my team, he's been pretty consistent all year. And then I play him last week instead of Sammy Watkins. He puts up like
ouch.
1 point. Sammy Watkins puts up like 16. And I would have won if I played Watkins, so.
Oh, no.
A rough.
No.
Rough time to start believing in a player. But this game really is a coin flip. I initially wanted to say Giants, much like you wanted to say Saints, but I might flip to Dolphins here. Just, partly to be different, but also because that division sucks so much. It would be so like them to lose against a team that they should beat.
Sure.
I already predicted the Eagles lose. I predicted the Redskins lose, Cowboys lose. Might as well say the Giants lose, because the way that division has gone, it wouldn't surprise me at all. So yeah, a half-point spread. Yeah, I'll take the Dolphins win. It's in Miami, right?
It's in Miami.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. They'll pull it out. Like you said, let Miller run the ball. They'll win.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Well, I think we differed on 3 games then this week, which is a lot less than I thought. But it should be interesting. I mean, you got a lot of big spreads to cover, and a lot of. I feel like the big spreads, like they're just the better teams are gonna win and cover because they're just distancing themselves from the pack. So it should be an interesting week, Fitz, for sure.
Yep, it'll be good.
All right, well, we'll see how we do. Remember to leave your picks below. Put the team name, then win and cover, and see how you do against me and Fitz. See if you can beat either one of us this week. And we'll see you all next week. Take care, and take care, Fitz.
Yep, take care.